used to watch fucking, what was his name? Cyrus.
I'm finna pull up to a gas station and post the Addy on my story. If you wanna pull up and kill me, it's the time to do it. If you wanna get a flick with me, it's the time to do it. I'ma overdose tonight and I'm just joking. I'm not gonna actually do that.
On May 5th, 2025, WifiSkeleton, also known as Cyrus, passed away to a drug overdose. A tragic end to his rather interesting life. Behind the YouTube success and streaming milestones was a young artist caught in a storm of identity shifts, allegations, and emotional weight he displayed through his music. The fame that had once lifted him up slowly became a burden. The shift from commentary to music wasn't just a change in career, it was an escape. But even in the freedom of melody and lyrics, the demons that he dealt with never truly silenced. So today we'll take a look at the cautionary tale of WifiSkeleton.
I loved him and Scrubby and shit.
WifiSkeleton, better known today for his moody, genre-bending tracks that dominate TikTok and streaming charts, didn't always live in a world of echoing 808s and emotional soundscapes. Before the stage name, before the millions of streams, and long before the viral fame, there was Cyrus. Born as a YouTuber, commanded attention online in an entirely different way. At just 14 years old, Cyrus launched himself into the chaotic orbit of YouTube commentary. It was 2018, and the digital throne once held by
Leafy the Goat
sat empty after the platform shakeups. That absence left a void to fill, and Cyrus, armed with gameplay footage and fast cuts edits, filled it with a raw, unfiltered voice that hit home for countless viewers that were looking for something new. Within a year, still only 14, he crossed the unfathomable milestone of 1 million subscribers.
First, I just want to go ahead and say thanks for all the support in yesterday's video. We got like an entire 30,000 likes in one day, and it's actually crazy.
1 million people watching this kid that barely knows how to drive. By 2019, he was a mainstay of the commentary world, racking up views, praise, and influence.
Yo, what's up, guys? Ching Chung Bing Bong Black Guy here, and basically today I'm just going to deny all the rumors. I'm sadly not Leafy is here. Unless if Leafy just found some random black guy to like do this face reveal and he's just voicing over this. I'm not Leafy.
He might be.
Bro, I'm sorry. You're really cool. Anyways, yeah, what's up, guys? It's Cyrus, and 15-year-old black kid, you know, fresh out of Harlem.
But unfortunately for Cyrus, shit wouldn't be sweet for long. As soon as he started to involve himself with certain communities and people online, things would take a little bit of a turn.
I never heard about this when I watched it.
On January 24th, 2023, Cyrus released a video titled, quote, "I hurt a lot of people," end quote, in which he publicly addressed and took accountability for a series of harmful behaviors. In the video, Cyrus admitted to having emotionally manipulated and cheated on multiple individuals, primarily women he had interacted with on Discord. He acknowledged that much of his conduct stemmed from a deep need for self-validation, which he pursued at the expense of others' well-being. Cyrus expressed remorse for the pain he had caused, describing his actions as emotionally abusive and deeply regrettable. He emphasized that his behavior was not isolated to a single incident, but part of a broader pattern, and stated his intention to seek professional help through therapy in order to begin making meaningful changes in his life.
I'm going to start this by being as blunt as I can. I've been fucking up for a really long time, and I've been hurting a lot of people, especially a lot of women on the internet, and I just can't keep going on receiving all this positive support and pretending like everything is fine, daily uploading like I'm not fucking up every day. I just want to be completely honest with you guys, as I've been being honest with all of the girls that I had basically led on and hurt for so long. I've grown up on the internet for just about my entire life, and every single phase I've gone through, every single negative part of me that I've gone through, other people have had to experience on here. And it's a lot easier to mask in a 10-minute video than it is with people that I talk to every single day of my life. So a lot of you have absolutely no clue on what I'm about to say, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, man. For the last, I'm not even sure how many years that I've been on the internet, since I was probably around 15, 14, I've been lying to a lot of females and flirting with a lot of females, and I didn't ever understand the weight of it as it was through the internet. I thought that they would just talk to guys in real life, or that it wouldn't really affect them, but it does. These are real people with real feelings, and I've had to understand that these were people that really cared about me and really trusted me, and I completely broke that with so many different girls, and it's horrible. I was on the internet being a cocky, arrogant cunt, thinking that I was just some what's the word? Thinking that I was just like getting all these girls, man. But I was just hurting them. They were all thinking that they had met the one. They were all thinking that we were going to have a life together and shit. and that just wasn't true. It has led to me hurting a lot of people, man, and some of those people even being younger than me. Some are saying that one of the girls was like 12, but I just want to go ahead and say that's not the girl's age at all. But I even heard a girl that was 3 years younger than me, and it was so man, like, it's so fucked up. I can't keep getting positive support. I can't keep reading all these lovely comments. It's man, like, I really need to be off of the internet. I really need to go get help, and I need to stop hurting people. So that's what I'm going to be doing as of today, everybody. You will not see me around for a good long while, as I really want to get help. I want to stop lying to people, and I want to stop hurting people. I can never undo any of the things that I've ever done to anybody. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm so sorry to anybody that ever felt like we'd have a life or a future together. I fucked up. I should have never led you on. I should have never lied. I should have never even flirted with you in the first place. It was stupid.
He then posted this on community notes. Thank you to those of you who watched the video I posted this morning opening up about my actions. But please stop defending me and giving me benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna be gone for a while so I can really change and hold myself accountable. I don't plan to ever lead a girl on again. I'm so sorry to anyone I've hurt, seriously. It's crucial to acknowledge that many of the incidents Cyrus referenced in his apology took place while he was still a minor, specifically around the age of 16. While this detail does not absolve him of responsibility or serve as a justification for his behavior, it does offer important context regarding his level of emotional maturity and judgment at the time. Recognizing his age during these events is not meant to diminish the harm, but rather to contribute to fuller understanding the situation. However, the controversy did not end with this video. Just one day later, on January 25th, 2023, additional allegations surfaced. A young woman on TikTok publicly accused Cyrus of being abusive, further complicating the narrative and added more layers to the already unfolding situation. The post reads, "I don't care, I'll say his name now since everyone from his little Discord crew is here to hate on me. Cyrus is an abusive weirdo piece of shit who needs some serious effing help. I've got all of his exes in my DMs telling me they experienced the same shit as me. If you are one of his e-girls here to hate on me, literally run away from that man." One of the main concerns with the situation is the lack of clarity surrounding this specific allegation. The initial accusation was presented in a vague and really non-specific manner, offering very little concrete detail about the nature of the supposed abuse. The ambiguity did make it difficult for the public to fully grasp what had occurred or to understand the severity of the claims, but however, shortly after this accusation was made, an individual on Twitter known as Hello Indigo, who had previously been involved with Cyrus romantically nigga, we need to get off Discord. Discord is gonna be the end of niggas, bro. Jobs, bro, jobs. And was also among the people he had cheated on. Came forward with additional allegations. They posted an extensive statement using TwitLonger, dramatically titled, "Cyrus is a huge piece of shit, surprise." In this post, Indigo disclosed that the wrongdoings that Cyrus had publicly apologized for on his video were only the tip of the iceberg. According to Indigo, the public apology Cyrus released was nothing more than just a calculated design to smooth things over temporarily. Cyrus most likely thought that if he came out first with a response, then it would alleviate anything else that would come out. The TwitLonger went on to describe how Cyrus had downplayed the severity of his actions, implying that the situation behind the scenes was far worse than he had led his audience to believe. Indigo wrote, "In early 2020, right before COVID, Cyrus made advances towards me. I was 15, he was 17, and I was simply excited to have someone into me. I played along and gave into his odd habits. For example, he would try to sing lullabies to me and apparently other women he was involved with. He would talk in a baby voice and suck his thumb when upset. He had multiple delusions that led me and his close friends into believing he was and probably is schizophrenic. He swore up and down he had a daughter who he acknowledged was imaginary, but he talked to her while on Discord calls with me. He also fully believed and defended that he was an angel sent from God who had made a deal with the devil for YouTube fame through a blood pact when he was 13. This led to a huge fight between us because I was concerned for his well-being. This doesn't end here though. Over the 3 years that he has been with his girlfriend, he has had dozens of online parties, which I can confidently say all of them were once his fans / looked up to him. Nah, bro, is the Discord Diddy, bro. It's over." He would integrate underage fans from his Discord servers into private calls and other servers and work them for months, building trust before making advancements and asking for sexual favors and nudes. They painting this man out to be the Discord Diddy, man. He's the Discord diddler. These screenshots were also provided, but mind you, they could be fake or not. All of this still remains alleged, and to be honest, it's not really a big deal. I mean, she was 15, he was 17. I mean, do we really care about this one? All we can can really take from the Indigo post is that she was backing up the claims of him talking to underage girls. A set of leaked direct messages began circulating online. These messages appeared to show someone confronting Cyrus with accusations of inappropriate behavior
He was underage as well.
minors, specifically labeling him as a pedophile. Rather than explicitly denying the claims, the individual in the messages responded with an apology, which only further raised the suspicion. However, it is important to note that the authenticity of these messages has never really been directly proven. There was no confirmation that the messages were actually sent by Cyrus himself, leaving their legitimacy in question and added another layer of uncertainty to this controversy, at least at the time. Following the earlier accusations, an audio recording surfaced that significantly escalated the situation. The clip featured a phone conversation between Cyrus and another individual, during which he admitted to speaking inappropriately to someone named Cherry, who was notably younger than him. In the recording, Cyrus expresses regret for the way he communicated with her, acknowledging that his behavior was completely unacceptable.
I didn't know how to talk to you and confront everything. And I want to try to right now.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management platform, you have the power, not IT.
Like, specifically the I don't know, I'm just going to say Cherry, I guess. I've never really called her that, but the Cherry stuff. I remember the day it happened, and I'm just going to tell it exactly as is. I kind of left a couple details out when I was telling Ryan earlier because I didn't want to, I don't know. I thought that it would come out like I was like...
Wait, is Ryan freaking scrubby? What's it? I swear it is. That's so sick. Oh, it's weird. He did bad shit. It's not sick, it's bad.
What's the word? Not justifying, that's not right. It sounded like I was giving it a reason for why it happened the first time in my head, so I didn't tell him exactly. But basically, I was drunk one night. I went up to my room when I was living with my friends. I was probably, I don't really know, maybe 17 at the time. I'm really bad with time. I'm just going to say I was 19, bro, because at this point I don't care. I feel like a monster, man.
Bro.
Whenever I was talking to her, there had been this thing going on for a really long time where she'd message me really horny stuff, right? And I would do the thing on Snapchat where you slide slowly so you can see the message without it opening and stuff.
Oh, swag. What the
And
fuck?
I remember in the beginning I was a little uncomfortable. I was more grounded, I guess. I was just kind of like, ew. I think I told her not to do that one time or something. But this particular day, I don't know. I had seen it for the billionth time, and then I acted on it. And I can't ever undo that, man. I had no reason to act on it. I had no reason to have her added. I had no reason to say hello to her. There wasn't anything specific about her or something. It wasn't because of her age or anything, or because of how she looked or anything. It's just somebody showed me that they really, wanted to do with me. And I was like, wow, somebody wants to do with me. And then it happened that first time, right? And then the next day, I felt a bunch of guilt. And I was like, dude, I was really fucked up last night. Can we forget that happened? And then, God, I don't want to go into the conversational specifics, but I'm going to try to. It went something along the lines of that. And then she was like, so you didn't like it? I was like, well, I did, but it's wrong. And I was never able to put in the words why it's wrong, even though it's obvious.
What the fuck happened? I guess I missed that part. What the fuck?
I'm older than her. I'm too old for her at this age. It's kind of weird. It's pretty weird. I don't know. It wasn't ever about her age, though, to me. That's just what made me feel so wrong about it in the beginning. And I couldn't say that. I don't know why I didn't.
Back in 2019, when Cherry was only 12 years old,
Yo.
she came across Cyrus's channel and quickly became an enthusiastic fan. We noticed because she started creating fan art of him and sharing it on Twitter, which occasionally led to Cyrus noticing her and interacting with her online. At that time, Cyrus was 16 years old. In early 2020, Cyrus saw some concerning tweets from Cherry that hinted at her struggling emotionally. He reached out to her via direct message, offering a private space where she could open up and vent. Soon after, he encouraged her to switch her conversations over to Snapchat, mentioning he didn't use Twitter much for messaging. Cherry kept confiding in him through Snapchat, and as time went on, they developed a closer relationship. Eventually, Cherry began sending him inappropriate jokes, sexually charged jokes to be specific. Initially, Cyrus did express discomfort about these jokes, but he ended up saying that they were fine as long as they weren't frequent. Around mid-2020, when Cherry had just turned 13, the roles briefly reversed as Cyrus, now 17, confided in his own emotional struggles, vented to Cherry mentioning his recent breakup. The day after this, he crossed the line by sending her something inappropriate. The following day, he apologized, admitting that what he did was wrong.
He
Cherry
sent a
asked if it was
message.
because he didn't like it, but it's more important to note that Cyrus was fully aware of Cherry's age, as it was clearly stated in her Twitter bio. These details align with Cyrus's admission in the phone call that we had just watched. A lot of these Snapchat messages included fantasies of wanting to kiss this girl and essentially rape her, most likely in a kinky kind of playful way, but regardless of the fact, it's still said. And 13 and 17, while both still minors, is still just kind of weird. Cherry would make her own Google Doc, and a couple excerpts from them being, I ended up making a private story for him where I post nudes, so in that way, if I wanted to send him nudes but didn't know if he wanted them, I could just post them on the story instead so he can check it himself if he wants to. One time he replied to my story and told me how he wanted to rape me and fill me up in all of my holes. The rape part made me a bit uncomfortable at first, but I didn't say anything about it and decided to just go along with it. He told me after quite some time of us talking that he used to find me attractive when I was 12, and how he had the selfies I had taken of myself saved on his phone from when I was 12. He also told me that he had sent one of the pictures to like some of his friends, I think, and asked them if they found me attractive, and when they did, he said it made him feel better because it made him feel like he was less weird. He also told me how he used to moan my real name while masturbating, which I used to use before on socials when I was 12. I didn't take this as something weird at the time. I actually felt really happy that someone wanted me in that way and that he actually found me attractive. Although the recording lacked broader context, such as the full nature of their interactions or the exact timeline, it nonetheless had a major impact. For many viewers and former supporters, this audio served as the final tipping. Regardless of the missing details, the recording reinforced existing concerns and severely damaged his credibility, especially with other YouTubers he was friends with or cool with at the time, as the commentary community absolutely flooded this event.
Yet another YouTuber has been caught in 4K being a complete weirdo, and this situation isn't just like some random YouTuber got exposed. Bro, I knew this guy for a long time, and I would have even said that I'm friends with him, actually. I mean, I wasn't like buddies with this guy. I wasn't best friends. I wasn't FaceTiming him looking like this, you know what I'm saying? You know, we weren't on that level, but I would say I was cool with him. You know, we were gonna collab actually at some point. So this information, you know, this drama, this controversy, bro, this hurts, bro. This really hits me at my core.
At that moment, any remaining goodwill towards Cyrus seemed to collapse, marking what many considered the effective end of his online presence and career. Cyrus would then wipe his YouTube channel, something that a lot of people saw as an admission of guilt, and he would be pretty quiet as Cyrus for a while. Nothing else would be said about the situation.
Chapter 3, Cyrus responds.
Cyrus came back only a few months after the controversy, making his comeback on May 6, 2023. On that day, a YouTube channel called High Key a Throwaway posted a video titled Star 67 Response with Proof plus Phone Call. In this upload, Cyrus addressed several misunderstandings and pushed back against what he described as blatant falsehoods. Cyrus made a statement that led many people to doubt the credibility of the information they had heard back in January.
So there's a ton of bullshit going around that I gotta disprove.
Wait,
I'm
what?
gonna have proof for literally everything that I mentioned, and I'm gonna put a call with Cherry at the end of the video where she confirms that we're 3 years apart. She was not 12. We were not have it, and that the women posting all these lies online were just using her as the cover for everything. She doesn't even want to be fucking involved. First off, Milk Celine, Jessie, or Whore, who's an 18-year-old OnlyFans model, is the one who really helped kick off all this shit with her Discord server filled with a bunch of baseless bullshit. She kicked off the rumor that I had sex with a 12-year-old. I'm just gonna flat out say that's not true. She then tried to change the age to 13 recently. That's also not true. A friend of mine who wanted to form a genuine, unbiased opinion based on what actually went down asked for proof of me ever talking to a 12-year-old. In response, whore wastes this nigga's time for hours, then says mother sucker when she came back. And then the next morning, she hits this nigga up saying that he was in her dream. She just changed the subject. She's constantly threatening to pull out all this proof that doesn't even exist, when all she has is flirty screenshots. She literally accidentally confirmed herself that Cherry is 3 years younger than me, while scrambling to find proof that does not exist.
Many of the rumors Cyrus claimed to debunk actually surfaced well after the original incident. Considering how much information had emerged accusing him, one might expect this video to focus heavily on refuting points discussed earlier. However, for the most part, he mainly offered apologies to the girls involved and addressed a handful of false claims, rather than thoroughly challenging all the allegations.
I got a text from my nigga iGrowCap saying that Cherry had messaged him on Instagram. When I saw that shit, I was beyond confused because honestly, I thought Cherry was a part of all the shit that had been going around. But it turns out, all these girls have just been speaking on her behalf this entire time, putting words in her mouth, manipulating scenarios, because all these people do is lie. After my nigga Cap got this DM, he got me into a group call with Cherry, and she said everything that she felt like she needed to say. I feel like this is really the best thing that I can show y'all, because screenshots are just not ever going to be enough, and I can completely understand that. You don't ever get the full context. Shit is always cropped. In the end, this situation is really a prime example of that shit. You niggas were lied to for months and made to believe that I'm really going after 12-year-olds. This shit is ridiculous. I'm about to let these clips play, and then the video's gonna end and shit, but I just want to say thank you to the niggas who heard me out from the beginning and understood that there was more to the story than what was let on. And to the niggas who dropped disses and shit and switched up on me, I can't even really be mad at you niggas.
Wait, it wasn't even the girl lying, it was somebody else lying about what happened with... Yo! She a weirdo. What the fuck?
Because the way that everything came out, you literally were left with no other choice than to believe everything that you were shown. Me disappearing after really did not help either. I just felt like I was genuinely obligated to take time off of the internet after I cut off literally every girl that I was talking to and decided to announce everything publicly. But I've done literally everything that I said I would in January. I've been off the internet, I've been living my real life, going to therapy, and I'm just fucking doing shit now, seriously. But I'm gonna let these clips play, bro. Hopefully you guys have heard me out and shit. Thank you for watching this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. She's kind of weird. They do.
Like, dude, they have everybody thinking that, like, I, like, had ethos with a 12-year-old or something.
But no, that's not really what happened, you know.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about what actually happened. They don't give no fuck. I don't know.
They just want to make you look bad.
But they have every right to be pissed off about the fact that, you know, I didn't link up with them, I didn't date them, I didn't want to pursue anything with them because I did waste their time. I get being mad about that shit. But to be so mad that you can lie about me talking to a 12-year-old girl is actually fucking insane. Every day they make more and more lies, and it's been months. They're still not satisfied. So they keep adding more fuel to the fire because they know that I don't have a platform to call out all their lies. Nothing's changed since my initial response. I talked to a lot of women. One of them was 3 years younger than me. And if you think that's lame as fuck and you don't fuck with me or my music or my content, then I can respect your decision. But I'm done with all that internet flirting shit, and I want to clarify that just basically everything that you've been told was a complete fucking lie from the jump. I can't tell you why they lied. I can't tell you why they're still making up shit. But hey, I'll give you $1 million if you can find a photo of me at prom with anybody.
According to Cyrus, Cherry had fabricated everything and had been pressured into lying about the nature of their relationship. He presented a Discord call where Cherry appeared to admit she hadn't actually been 12 at the time. To many viewers, this seemed like a damning piece of evidence for a couple reasons. Not only did the primary accuser, who had provided the most substantial evidence, allegedly confess to lying, but if Cyrus's claims were true,
she was lying.
reputation and career had been destroyed by false allegations. Because of this, some people began to believe the entire story was made up and that Cyrus had been wrongfully canceled. And with his Spotify booming as Star 67 at the time, a lot of people started to support him again. At that point, it looked as if Cyrus had successfully cleared his name and regained much of his fan base. However, that wasn't the full truth. In reality, the only falsehood Sherry admitted to was her statement claiming the entire situation was fabricated. The other allegations still stood, and I'll tell you why. On May 1st, 2023, just 5 days before Cyrus uploaded his comeback video, a Discord group chat was created that included Sherry, Jess, and a woman named Danya. Allegedly, Jess was an old acquaintance of Cyrus who had found out about his involvement with Sherry back in May 2022. She confronted him about it, which resulted in Cyrus blocking her. That was essentially the extent of their direct contact until Jess later resurfaced by posting an audio recording in which Cyrus appeared to admit to communicating with someone too young for him. This version of Jess's role is noticeably different from Cyrus's portrayal. There's no indication she instructed anyone to lie. Rather, she was simply someone who released evidence on Twitter. This Discord group chat was initially set up to compile and preserve Sherry's past conversations with Cyrus, with the goal of uploading these screenshots to a public Google Drive for open access. By May 2nd, 2023, the purpose of the group shifted slightly. The members began coordinating a plan for Sherry to message Cyrus on Instagram, pretending to forgive him in order to gather more information from him directly. In this screen recording, you can see the same screenshot that Cyrus featured in his video, but this time shown from Sherry's perspective. This revealed that the apology Cyrus presented was actually staged. Sherry had sent it to see how he would react. However, it turned out the account she messaged wasn't Cyrus directly, but rather his friend Kat, whom Cyrus had mentioned in his video. This eventually led to Sherry and Cyrus talking via Discord DMs. In those messages, Cyrus shared that he initially thought Sherry had been pressured by Jess to apologize and was hesitant to respond. Sherry assured him that she hadn't been coerced, and they continued chatting. During this conversation, Cyrus openly admitted to having been involved with Sherry, contradicting his public claim that there was no explicit communication or inappropriate messages. One screenshot showed Cyrus asking Sherry to comment under his video to confirm that everything he was saying was true, but he ended up deleting that message soon after sending it. By staying on good terms with him, Sherry was able to get him to speak more openly, which ultimately led to the call featured in Cyrus's response video. Despite that, his private messages still revealed lingering doubt. After that call, which was shown in his response, Cyrus realized Sherry had tricked him and discovered she was in a group chat with Jess. Sherry then confronted him, reminding him that he had always known she was 13. All of this unfolded just 3 days before Cyrus posted his response video. Given that timeline, one would expect him to refrain from using Sherry's staged apology and her supposed confession of lying as the centerpiece of his defense. Yet, that's exactly what he did, presenting her fake apology as genuine to make himself look innocent. An approach that did convince some people. So just so we're on the same page, Sherry never lied about the explicit messages or their relationship. The only falsehood was pretending to forgive Cyrus. This undermines Cyrus's main defense, since he was fully aware that the apology was fake for at least 3 days before releasing his video. While me, Clancy, proving these details without Sherry's direct confirmation is challenging, YouTuber WifiSkeleton, who actually made his own video covering the situation, managed to reach out to Sherry to verify this information further.
I did the most logical thing and got in contact with Sherry. Now, I recently reached out via Instagram, and I asked her to confirm some things Jess and Cyrus said. With that, I'll be reading you the chat now. Hey, I got your Instagram from Jess, and I just wanted to ask a few questions to just verify things about this Cyrus situation. I'm a YouTuber, and I saw that Cyrus kinda got away with the things he did, so I'm making a video about the whole thing. The script's almost done, just need to confirm some things.
Okay, what's up?
Did Jess tell you the lie about everything being fake in order to get on Cyrus's good side? Like, Cyrus told everyone everything was fake when in reality it was real, and you told him you lied to see what else he'd reveal?
Yeah, exactly.
Did Jess tell you the lie about anything back in January 2023?
No, the only thing she asked me to lie about was when we were trying to get more evidence on Cyrus and to get me on his good side.
Were you in this group chat planning to get on Cyrus's good side?
Yeah, like the one with Jesse and Anya?
Yeah, the one where you guys are planning to get on his good side. Are these your DMs? And did Cyrus use your fake apology and claims within these DMs to say he was innocent?
Yep.
These messages
Oh,
from
God.
Cherry confirmed the gay op theory.
These messages from Sherry confirmed that they did set up Cyrus. To clarify, there were no fabricated screenshots circling back in January. Jess only encouraged Sherry to lie about the matter much later, and only for the purpose of gathering more information from Cyrus, not to fake earlier evidence. So the original screenshots showing Cyrus's messages to Cherry were genuine. If the key claim underpinning Cyrus's innocence is now shown to be fabricated, it raises questions about what else in the video might have been misleading. In his response, Cyrus insisted he never messaged a 12-year-old, which is technically true. However, he did send explicit messages to Cherry when she was 13, allegedly. He tried to downplay this by saying that there was only a 3-year age gap between them, suggesting that it made it more acceptable. But this too doesn't hold up. During the research for his own video, Stormy independently verified the age details based on the evidence obtained, showing that Cyrus's age gap claim was also inaccurate.
So I asked around and I eventually received her ID, and according to this ID, their relationship would be an almost 4-year age gap, with Cherry's birthday being on July 2007 and Cyrus's birthday being on July 2003. Now, to be honest, it's not exactly a 4-year age gap, but it is very close, as in 3 years, 11 months, and a few days age gap close. Meaning on paper, the 3-year age gap claim would only work for 2 weeks. But with that aside, this would mean Cyrus did send explicit messages to a middle schooler when he was 17.
Within a day of Stormy's video being uploaded, Cyrus would directly respond to Stormy's YouTube video with his own after reaching out in Twitter DMs to try to address the claims made. Cyrus's response video did have some parts that Stormy agreed with, but for the most part, Stormy didn't agree with much of it. First off, in Cyrus's video, he used a Discord screenshot of Cherry supposedly admitting she had lied about her age, trying to prove that she had been dishonest from the start.
This dated screenshot with the time and everything, which clearly comes from one little exposed Discord that they advertised about me, where you can clearly see Cherry or Bunny or whatever you want to call her casually admitting to lying about her age. The frustrating part is this YouTuber wanted to go back and forth on how, since it doesn't have her Discord username, oh, it can't be her. This was the first ever screenshot recorded proof of this girl's Discord account even existing. It's from January 25th, 2023, around 10:21 p.m. or some shit like that, Pacific time, and it was screenshotted by a guy named Stuya, or I Love Crack, who was literally against me at the time, peddling these allegations step by step. And I was even able to show the context that the screenshot was uncovered and sent to me in. And this dude just kept going, it doesn't have her Discord username. It doesn't have her Discord username. Oh, sorry, dude. Let me just fucking time travel real quick and tell Studio to lock the fuck in and screenshot every single detail of this girl's profile. This guy wanted to stretch the possibility that someone impersonated her so badly that he said, well, your video was released a day before this screenshot, so someone could have copied her Discord. My video was a black fucking screen. I didn't even say any names in the video. I wasn't even involved with Stuya or I Love Crack. I definitely wasn't in this exposed Discord. I was the last person that they would have let in there. So with that being said, there are two possibilities. Either Cherry saw this screenshot, thought the name was dope as fuck and stole it, or there's a time traveler out there that could somehow impersonate not only Cherry, but the entire surrounding Discord in this screenshot, which, surprise, surprise, you can actually gather a lot from. You can see the VC name set to Cyrus Win Miners, which nobody who's fucking with me enough to time travel to make this their fucking name would make this the VC name. And you can see her role coloring. I'm not sure if this exposed server is archived in other screenshots, but if it is, you'll see the color and name and dates, and it all lines up perfectly with her. This is clearly just her.
For context, just hours after Stormy's original video dropped, Cyrus reached out to clear up what he claimed were misunderstandings. During that conversation, he showed Stormy the screenshot and insisted it came directly from Cherry, arguing it proved she lied about her age. Stormy, however, pointed out that without the account handle, there was no way to trust the screenshot at face value. It could easily have been faked by a fan of Cyrus or by someone with a motive against Cherry. But without the user's handle, there was no reason to accept it as fact. On top of that, it didn't make sense for Cherry to say that in the first place, considering her explicit messages with Cyrus had leaked over 15 hours before the supposed screenshot was ever taken, which would have made her look like a liar immediately. It just didn't add up.
This conversation was basically him showing me the screenshot and telling me that this was from Cherry and that she lied about her age. However, I went on to say that since I do not have the ad for this user, I cannot take this at face value. Later going on to say it could be easily faked by either someone that was a fan of his or someone who knew Cherry's name and was against her for some reason. I don't know.
Dang.
Cyrus saying, actually, I don't have the app because I don't have a time machine is a non-argument. Due to the fact that I do not have her at, I cannot take his statements as fact. Not only that, but it wouldn't make any sense for Cherry to say this, as her explicit messages from Cyrus leaked more than 15 hours before this supposed screenshot was even taken. This would basically make her look like a liar immediately straight off the bat. It just doesn't align at all.
Even entertaining Cyrus's claim for argument's sake, Stormy thought it was still suspicious that there was no concrete evidence behind it. Later, he received a screen recording of the original message and discovered that Cherry hadn't actually confessed to lying about her age. She had just copied and pasted someone's alleged experience with Cyrus. So the message wasn't even her own statement. In other words, ignoring the missing Discord handle for a moment, Cyrus had used an out-of-context snippet as a key piece of evidence during his defense and expected people to buy it. And a lot of people did. If Cyrus genuinely hadn't realized this, it only proves Stormy's point about why relying solely on screenshots is unreliable. They can be taken out of context or misused. Within a week of Stormy's upload, another user, Domino Burner, publicly called Cyrus out on this. In response, Cyrus posted in his Discord server claiming it didn't matter because the only thing that had changed was that now he didn't have any proof Cherry lied about her age. To Stormy, this absolutely did matter because it was the backbone of Cyrus's argument for his innocence. Stormy claimed that even if Cherry did lie about her age, there should be evidence showing that she said she was 15 multiple times in 2022, which there is. Stormy actually sent these screenshots to Cyrus, but he then brushed it off, saying he didn't really use Twitter at the time. Of course, Stormy couldn't quite verify that, so he didn't take it at face value, which I gotta say, Stormy has been consistent with not taking things at face value. Still, if Cyrus was talking to Cherry frequently back then, it seems strange he wouldn't have been aware of her posts elsewhere.
Hopefully, there would be screenshots where she repeatedly said multiple times in 2022 that she was 15. Oh wait, there are. I sent these screenshots to Cyrus, and he just said that he didn't really have Twitter at the time or didn't really use it. I cannot confirm this, so again, I cannot take this at face value. But if you were talking to this girl a lot at the time, wouldn't you just I don't know, be aware of their social media? It's kind of weird, I don't know.
Cyrus also claimed that some anonymous woman that he knew used old middle school photos and stories about him, such as the baby Bink photo, to spread false rumors about him. I want to note too that Stormy didn't approve of any of the gay ops / setups that did occur. In the end, Stormy's response video demonstrated that Cyrus's so-called evidence was most likely out of context snippets designed to make him look innocent.
God, and there's this girl that I used to talk to that's a little bit older than me as well, who also piggybacked onto the allegations and called me a pedophile and said that I groomed her. Girl, you're older than me for one, and for two, my entire introduction to people being sexual online and sending you photos was through this girl that was older than me. Do you know how much a kick in the fucking face that is, man? It's bad enough she's older than me. It's bad enough that she's leaking all these photos of me from middle school, but then she's accusing me of being some fucking predator towards her. Bitch, you were the predator to me. I didn't even know that you could fucking take pictures of your ass and send them to niggas online. Never crossed my mind until I met you. And if you're listening to this and you're the girl that I'm talking about, can you please delete the photos of me that you have from when I was in middle school? That shit is freaky as fuck.
Now, I want to make it clear, I don't really support or encourage what those girls did, frankly. That's pretty much it. Just wanted to mention that no matter what I say, there will be people that still support them with with this song on TikTok blowing up right now, which I'll admit, kind of a banger, I know.
Stormy never wanted to label Cyrus as a predator just for views. He simply found that Cherry's account made the most logical sense when lined up with the available proof at the time. Stormy actually says that he initially wanted to see Cyrus cleared and come back stronger. The first draft of Stormy's video actually leaned in Cyrus's favor. As we know it, this would be the end of Cyrus' allegations. At this point, fans would choose what they wanted to believe, either being on his side or not. One comment under Cyrus's video says, "Cyrus, I believe you. I'm really sorry you had to go through all this bullshit. You don't deserve this at all. No one should have to deal with false accusations, especially when it can ruin their life. People like that are the reason why actual victims are afraid to speak out about what happened to them. It's so effed up. I hate liars. You've got my support through this difficult time. Feel free to let me know if you need anything." Poncho commented on Stormy's video, "I am not defending Cyrus or what he did."
What the fuck?
As he transitioned from YouTuber to musician, first under the names Fuck Psy and Star67, then ultimately WifiSkeleton in 2022, his recordings became a raw emotional outlet. The transition marked a turning point. No longer simply making YouTube videos, he began pouring his own emotional wounds into lo-fi and experimental tracks. He formed the collective Goth Angels alongside artists like Keep Secrets and Witchbox, a creative alliance steeped in digital age, melancholy, and DIY ethos. This creative evolution culminated in the release of Suburban Daredevil on October 22nd, 2024, a 12-track mixtape spanning just 15 minutes. The work captured the mood of a generation alienated and haunted by past trauma. Led by the chilling single, Nope, You're Too Late, I Already Died, the album's emotional gravity was amplified when the song erupted on TikTok in early 2025. The track climbed its way onto the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at 91, and became a posthumous anthem for anxious youth. In the months following, WifiSkeleton's output revealed a disturbing obliqueness. I think it's funny to note that he leaned into MLP aesthetics, which is funny given his previous disdain for that community.
This dude's pushing 30, has a My Little Pony girl collection, and this motherfucker just said meme-tastic. Time for a little game show. Alright, roll the Jeopardy music. Do you guys think that this guy is going to get bitches tonight? A. No. B. Fuck no.
I've been getting back into biking recently. I was out of it for a while because I was on my bike and I got hit by this truck. Shit was fucking crazy. Oh, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, really, my bike took most of the damage, honestly. I'm WifiSkeleton, making music with cats and ponies, and I'm from Atlanta. I picked up alternative rock music around like 2019 when I was 16 years old with a couple of my homies, and then I dropped out of that sphere for a good while. Came back to it in like 2023, early on when I probably had like maybe like 1,000 or so fans. I had dropped inside of the Discord that I was leaving some stuff behind inside of my old house. One of the fans got in contact with me and drove out 6 hours to go to my old house and get my old guitar. And that was fucking crazy. Really wake up, lounge around, make music, get on Discord. That's about it. I don't really do much. Sometimes go on bike rides.
On 2008, a track from his final album, Pony, released on April 18th, 2025, just 17 days before his death, he sings, "You claim that I do these things I didn't. How would you like it if it happened to you?" The words hint at deep frustration over allegations that shadowed his public life. But it's also on the same album that his vulnerability shows. In the song Famous, he confronts the hollowness of success with anguished confusion, singing, quote, "If I get famous, I'll still want to die. Man, I hate my effing life. It won't get better. And I tried my best, but still feel like I'm not. Therapist makes me feel stupid and I can't do nothing right. I guess that's it." It seems that Wi-Fi's tapping into legacy wounds right here, mental health struggles that predate any spotlight. The lyric maybe encapsulates a haunting paradox, the idea that visibility would cure him, yet he remained undone despite or because of it, but that's just speculation. The title track, Suburban Daredevil, also chillingly reads, "I know I'm lucky if I'll ever make it to 22. The release of Pony on April 18, 2025 seemed to mark a final reckoning with grief, self-hatred, and resentment. The album's hyperpop and Sigilcore textures carried the weight of authenticity, unfiltered, broken down, almost too raw for a world that thrives on performative resilience. Tragically, on May 5th, 2025, Witchbox, his collaborator and close friend, announced on Discord that Jeremiah had been found unresponsive, an apparent overdose cutting his life short. The shock was magnified by his chilling Instagram live that aired just hours prior, where he grimly declared that "I'm going to overdose and kill myself," only to say that it was a joke. Friends and collaborators Ice Mop, Bumpkin, and iMessage actually got on Instagram Live and pretty much argued about the entire situation. From what we know about the whole situation, Ice Mop was the one that actually came back and found Wi-Fi unresponsive. Ice Mop claimed that he used to hide the drugs from Wi-Fi, recognizing his issues with them, yet iMessage would argue on the point on why they were doing drugs together, with Bumpkin chiming in and giving his 2 cents on the situation.
So the moment he hangs out with you guys, all of a sudden he wants to do Zans, all of a sudden he wants to do Drank, all of a sudden.
All of a sudden? Here, let me give the phone to Bumpkin. Bumpkin can explain.
Yo, Scott, let me talk to you because you be thinking you know shit. Yo, I got a question, bro. So, when a nigga buys Zans and he really wants to do them because he wanted to do Zans, if you actually knew that nigga, you would know he's been talking about it for a while now, doing Zans. What would you do if that nigga bought the Zans and they showed up? What would you do with them?
I would throw them away, bro.
Right. So, wait, no, pause. So, if he buys more, what would you do with them?
Throw them away.
Right. So, and if he buys more, what would you do with them?
Throw them away. One thing I wouldn't do,
eventually, like, while he's buying them Zans, he's just gonna fucking do them instead of letting you throw them away.
But I wouldn't pass the bag to him like I smelled it yesterday.
Pass the bag?
Yerski wasn't VC, bro. I can get Yerski and Ludacris in here. Yesterday we were on call with him. Scale asked Ice Mob to pass him the bag, and Ice Mob passed him the bag.
Yeah, that's cold. I'm glad y'all was on call him, but Ice Mob also was doing drugs. So like, why would he not pass the drugs that this nigga bought to him?
Because he's saying that he was hiding the drugs in the toaster and he was smacking them out of his
Yeah,
hands. So
niggas were hiding the drugs. That's my point.
How is
So
he hiding
that's
them
my
and smacking
point.
them at the same time?
What are you fucking talking about? If somebody hides drugs and then the nigga buys more, how are we gonna hide them in his face? See, you niggas are talking about how you was on call. What the fuck is you finna do on call? You don't even know shit on call. You just know the
What
nigga
the?
you're
I'm
talking
saying
to.
I'm
So that shouldn't
hearing
even
the
make any
shit because
sense.
you niggas are lying. When y'all were passing them drugs, so many people yesterday were on call with them, and each time they were on call, niggas heard that Ice Mob was passing them pills, bro. So like you can't say you were hiding them on live and saying doing all this shit when you were passing it to him at the same time.
Okay, but that's the thing though. Two things can be true. He could
And
hide some
also,
and he could
iMessage was
pass
on
him
the live.
others. Hold
iMessage was on
on.
the live, and he was saying that Killself told him an entirely different story.
I don't know nothing about that. All I know is the truth. So I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. Them niggas were doing drugs, as Skell does. Cause don't sit here and pretend like you didn't know Skell was doing drugs even in his own fucking home. You ain't tell him to stop. You ain't tell him to throw that
But
shit away. You ain't
never
tell him none
once.
of that shit.
Bro,
No, you ain't tell him no. You ain't ever tell him to
it
stop.
wasn't,
No,
it
bro,
wasn't,
stop. Stop.
no, it
Stop.
wasn't
Cause you
until
ain't
he was in
ever told him to
Miami
stop
that he
doing
was
drugs,
slurred out
Daniel.
every day. Every day he was in fucking Miami, he was slurring his words. Like what,
Because
bro?
of what? Because of what? Drugs? Exactly.
Yeah,
That's my
because he
point.
was
He would
around,
slur.
yeah.
He would
If
slur
he
his
didn't go to
nigga. He would
Miami,
slur
this
his
wouldn't have
words
happened.
on call too. That don't even make no fucking sense. What?
If he didn't go to Miami, none of this shit would ever happen.
Yeah,
How
we
is it that
just
he goes to
don't know if
Miami and
that's
then he
true because
dies,
that
bro?
nigga was looking for Zans everywhere. That's retarded. He just found him in Miami. That's so hindsight. That's so dumb. What are you fucking talking about? That nigga would have found Zans in Missouri eventually, but he was looking for Zans for all the whole fucking year. That shit don't
The
even make
whole
no damn
year,
sense.
and then he goes to Miami with Ice Mob and he finds them.
You think just because he popped out with Ice Mob was like, I know where all the drugs in Miami at. That nigga doesn't even live here.
Yeah, but
That's
Killstone
fucking
was
retarded.
saying he lives
You're
there.
making it sound like he just walked in and found the Zans on Ice Mob. That shit's
I'm
dumb.
hearing different stories. I'm hearing shit from you. I'm hearing shit from
Yeah,
Ice
you're
Mob,
hearing a whole
and then
lot of
Killstone.
stories, right?
Yeah, from
Are you
all of
listening to
you,
niggas
from
that were
all of you.
here?
Yes,
Are you listening to niggas that were here?
you, Ice Mob, Killstone. Why is everyone telling a different
All
story?
right, listen to the one nigga that literally didn't touch a fucking Zan the whole trip, except to hide them bitches and to flush them. I'm telling you right now, him and Ice Mob and a few niggas with us did those Zans and drank that lean. Nobody tried to give him the Zans. Nobody tried to like put him onto some shit. It came to the house and he did them bitches with everybody else that did them. That's the only nigga that was on retarded shit because he had bought them, so he knew where the drugs was at, even if we hit him. Of course, he's gonna fucking buy more once we hide all of them and get some more. That shouldn't even be. That should be a fucking given.
I'm just saying it's a coincidence that the shit happens when he links up with y'all, bro.
It's
The
a
weakest like.
coincidence, but you already knew he was a druggie from jump. So what are you fucking talking about?
But never have I heard him that fucked up continuously in a like fucking rows,
My
bro.
nigga, you
Every day
hardly
he
talked to
was
him
in
as much as I
VC.
did. So what the fuck are you talking about? He was in
But
VC for like hours out of the day. There is 24 hours in a fucking day. You think
Her social. He thinks he's like boys with him in real life. What the fuck? Why are you on this shit? Bumpkin knows him in real life. Like, what the fuck?
think when he's too like fucked up off Molly or some other shit that he's just gonna try to call you Scott? He's not. He's gonna sit there
But
and
every
be fucked
time
up
he
off
was
them
in
drugs
VC
until
though,
he can call
but in
somebody.
Miami, he was always every fucking day he was drugged out. Like what the fuck? Like you guys are bad fucking friends, bro.
I really don't give a fuck how you feel about that shit. I'm gonna be honest. If you think I'm a bad friend, that's cold. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling you what it is. Like yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like you make it sound like we was just sitting there watching this nigga just pop bar after bar after bar after bar.
Bro, I don't want to say because, bro.
Like, just tell me what it is, nigga. Tell me how it is. If you feel like that's
No,
what it
cause
was, that's what it.
where's iMessage? I don't want to leak shit.
No, keep it a band, bro. Because you already getting loud on live. You might as well just keep it a buck.
Cause I don't want to leak with iMessage. Cause I'm not trying to get iMessage involved.
Then
Cause
why the
iMessage,
fuck
he
are you
said it
saying his
himself.
name in the first place?
Because there's shit that I know that iMessage said. That's why I want iMessage in here. But
Yeah, but
iMessage said like
iMessage isn't even in
scale
the
is.
fucking spot. iMessage isn't even here. iMessage is at his crib online saying shit. He found out from a bitch that Ice Mop called. That's how he knows. He doesn't even know because Ice Mop called him. He found out from another bitch.
Hi, Bumpkin.
Yo, y'all niggas want the answer, bro? Here's how it went. Nigga did Zans, he did lean, he OD. Don't do a whole bunch of fucking drugs. That shit's for retards. You want to get lit, get lit. But that nigga got too lit and he fucking died, bro. Rest in peace to my nigga Skell, man. Rest in peace. Look, y'all don't need no more explanation. Y'all don't need a reaction to shit. Y'all don't need this nigga Ice Mop to explain himself. Because I was all there. That's all they need, bro. That's all they need. They don't need shit else. Y'all don't need nothing else. Y'all didn't know him like that. Y'all liked his music. And I'm glad y'all fucked with it. Because he was a real nigga and he made some real shit. But y'all don't need to know nothing else.
Bumpkin look a real friend. He like stuck with him. That's sick as hell.
Get off that live, bro.
Now, what I'm about to show you right now, I don't really have any fuller commentary to give, but I do still think it's interesting to mention that Scale was actually in a Discord VC before he died, talking about the allegations, and he also brought up Pyro Cynical. I'll play the clip right here.
Man, Pyro Cynical tried to groom me because he's a pedophile.
What?
What? No, I'm not trolling, bro. I'm not trolling. All that shit about Pyro is actually true. It be feeling like the niggas that's actually pedophiles. They just get to slip under the radar, and then they just expose niggas like me that didn't do shit.
No,
and then they let these real monsters roam around, bro.
Did you
That
say
nigga's a
anything?
monster.
Did you say anything when he got exposed, bro? Like during that whole time?
No, I didn't say anything about it because I don't like getting involved in drama. I don't like getting involved in shit.
That makes sense.
So I've never talked about it publicly.
Bro,
but
are
he was
any of them chill?
He was trying to get me on that Discord furry shit with him. He wanted me to be a furry with him.
Bro, why didn't you?
And everybody that was around back then, like when we were all 13 years old, we knew Ivory, and we knew that he knew Pyro because he would never shut up about it because he loved Pyro, and they were secretly dating. But the whole thing is that Ivory was like fucking 13 years old, bro. And then Pyro had fake when he got exposed. He had fake being like, I didn't know their age. I didn't know their age. He was just lying though. He knew
internet when they get young, bro.
I mean, like, once a nigga get an allegation, they just go to deny.
So that's why I don't fuck with Pyro Cynical. I don't fuck with no YouTubers. All those YouTubers are fucking weird creeps, bro. And I'm so glad to be out of that scene.
And yeah, so I don't know what exactly to make of this clip. This could just be him trying to push blame onto somebody else, but it definitely seems interesting that this is the day before he died. It could be that he wanted to really get this off his chest before he thought about killing himself, but that is just speculation, and it really is all in the air if the overdose was accidental or if it was intentional. But if his music and lyrics are anything to go by, then it could be leaning on intentional. Fans and peers did flood social media platforms grieving.
This dude passed away on literally the same day that I was thinking about how his most popular song is literally a cry for help. It just makes me think, man, mental health is no joke. Like, that shit can happen to anybody. I really wish mental health was just as easy as saying, hey man, I hope you're okay. You'll get over it. You'll be all right. But unfortunately, it isn't just that. There's so much more to mental health than what it looks like on the outside. It doesn't matter if somebody's on top of the world or if they have a lot of followers or they're an upcoming artist. They can still struggle with all of these mental health issues. Rest in peace to WifiSkeleton, man. I really hope everybody watching this video stays up mentally.
One user wrote, Cyrus was mentally troubled and drug addicted while trying to defend himself. Hearing the Discord call with him and his accusers was so unproductive and mishandled that I don't know which side was more annoying to listen to. Having seen both sides of this argument, my main takeaway is that parents need to stop letting the internet raise their children. I don't really think anyone looks good coming out of this situation. He was my favorite YouTuber since I was 13 and his music is great, so I'm biased. But I can't shake the feeling that nothing will ever be clear about all of this, which for the most part, I kind of agree with this. This user pretty much summed up all of my thoughts in this comment. My synopsis is that WifiSkeleton's work was fractured by exposure, mental illness, and digitalized loneliness. He stood at the junction of internet subculture and personal agony, leaving behind a legacy that is frankly just questionable. But in the end, whether you believe the allegations or Wi-Fi's response, the story is still a tragic reflection of social media's double-edged presence. I'll let you be the judge. But this has been Clancy. Holla at your boy.
WVid. Shit, I'll be back. I'm gonna go to the toilet.